Hi, it's Matt here from Go Green Autos. So in today's video I thought I'll share some information about washing cars. Obviously something I have to do a lot because I'm retailing cars, and washing cars in the summer is an absolute nightmare, particularly here. I'm in Oxfordshire and it's a very hard water area, and if we have a look at this car, particularly on dark coloured cars, you can just see there is water stains all over the car. I didn't wash this car, actually it's come back in from a customer and they had washed it before bringing it back. But when you're in a hard water area, that's what you get when you leave water on a car to dry and they look an absolute mess. That's one of the reasons actually why I don't buy black cars. Black cars are an absolute nightmare to keep clean, look good. But this car being, this one's called Midnight Blue Metallic, it's exactly the same. That when they're clean they look great, but you know, in a hard water area it can look a mess, particularly if you wash a car in the sun. So many years ago, before I was selling cars, before Go Green Autos existed, I'd looked at the cartridge type systems you can attach to your hose pipe, and all those sort of made sense because, you know, I had the Brita water jug in the fridge and I'd had a water cartridge system on a kitchen tap previously, so I knew how those work, and the idea of attaching one to the hose pipe all sort of made sense, but I didn't like the running costs. They were quite expensive and I never bothered. But when I started effectively washing cars for a living and had to make cars look good, the hard water here in Oxfordshire was really becoming a pain, and I just wanted to make things a little bit more efficient. So I then discovered the resin, the DI vessel, and this is the system that window cleaners use. You know, the window cleaners that have the long poles, and they do everything from standing on the ground now. Well, they have this set up in the back of their vans, often much bigger than this, but indeed I bought that from a distributor that sell equipment to window cleaners. You can buy exactly the same thing from the automotive distributors, but it's a lot cleaner, a lot cheaper and cleaner, but it's a lot cheaper to buy them from the window cleaning industry rather than the automotive industry. So all this is really is a giant water filter. Well, it's an 11 litre one, but it's a water filter that you can change the resin inside, so it means the long-term running costs are a little bit cheaper because you're not replacing the whole unit each time. But I was very wary buying this. First of all, I didn't really know if it was going to work, and very wary about the actual running cost because the resin you put inside is very, very expensive. But I'll go into that a little bit more in detail. First, let's have a look actually what the resin vessel is. So basically we've got an arrow on here, so you have your hose coming in, hose coming out, and this is just really a fiberglass chamber, and then in it is this thing. So your water's coming in, going through the resin in the chamber, not that we're going to see, but that's full of resin. I'll show you the resin in a minute. And then it comes out the other side. So very simple system, and the magic is done by the resin that's inside. And then we've got hose pipe clips on. I've added these additional valves on, which means I can turn them off, and when I disconnect the hoses I'm not going to spray water everywhere. So this 11 litre vessel cost me £57 including VAT, and that included the hose lock adapters on the end, and I then bought these valves on eBay, these brass valves, and they were £2.50 each or something like that. So all in all you're looking at about £60 outlay for that. There are different sizes as well. You can get smaller ones and you can get bigger ones, but I don't think there's any real advantage going any bigger because it's just going to hold more resin, and I think the results are going to be the same. You have a bigger vessel chamber, you're going to have more resin in there. It might last you longer, but I think ultimately it's still going to wear out the same rate. If you have a smaller one you might be changing the resin more frequently, but you're going to be putting less resin in, so I think ultimately it all works out about the same. Anyway, that was my theory. Now the expensive bit is the resin. Oh, just torn the bag. This is a 25 litre sack of it, and that was £86. There are different versions. This is the MB151, which is meant to be for hard water areas. So yeah, that is a lot of money, and I'm sure you're going to want to see what it is. It's basically looks like sand. I don't know what it's made of. I don't really know the technicalities behind all of this sort of system, but it's very strange stuff. It glistens like gold, but it has the sort of texture of sand. It is tiny, tiny little beads. And that 25 litre bag will fill that roughly 3 times. I'm on my second fill, and there's enough there. I probably need a little bit more to fill it a 3rd time. So as far as running costs go, this has lasted, well, using that other bit in there, we're looking at about a year's use, and it's very difficult to tell how many times it's been used in that time. I haven't counted. We have been in lockdown, so maybe I'm not washing cars as frequently as we would have been, because sales have been quieter in lockdown. But you know, that's cost 80 odd quid for a year. To me, that's very cheap running cost for the results, and I'll show you that in a minute. But I think maybe as we're busier, maybe that might last 6 to 8 months. Again, I think that's a price worth paying. But if I was looking at this just for home use, maybe you'd get a smaller one, and you can buy resin in smaller bags. It's going to last you such a long time. If you have problems with hard water, and you like washing your car every weekend, then I wish I knew about this system before. I would have spent the money. You might be looking at, you know, a 60 odd quid plus the bag. You might be looking at a 140, 150 quid setup or whatever. If you go for a smaller one, you're probably looking at less than 100 quid setup. But you've got something that's going to last you a very, very long time. And I've been so impressed with the results. I just wish I knew about this years ago, and I wish I'd bought a similar sort of setup for home use. So that's why I'm making this video, just to share the information, because until you've been shown this sort of system, you don't really believe it's going to work, and you don't want to fork out that money. But as I said, I'm so impressed with this. I wish I'd done it a long time ago. Even before doing this at Go Green, I wish I'd had this for my own cars. It just really makes a huge difference when you're washing cars, particularly when you're washing cars in the summer. So obviously the theory is, when you're washing cars with normal tap water, when the water dries, you're left with these water stains because of the impurities in the water. But when you're filtering water, obviously that water is cleaner, more pure. So when it dries, you're not left with these marks on your vehicle. When I bought the system, I also bought a little test meter. This was about £20. I know you can get them much, much cheaper on eBay, but I bought it from the same distributor I bought all the equipment from. So I didn't mind spending a few more quid just to get one that I know that works. And what this measures is the purity of the water. So let's put it to the test. Let's test the tap water. So I've got the hose pipe plugged into the outside tap there, and so this is just normal tap water, and let's just fill that with normal tap water. Then I'm going to attach the hose through the filter, and let's fill another jug up with purified water. So I've now got the outside tap there connected up to the water filter with my hose on the other end, and I have run through the dirty water out of the hose. So this is now purified water. So using the meter, I don't remember how do we use that, turn it on. So this is measuring parts per million. Oh, we've got to leave it in there. That's, I can't see because of the sun. Right, 299 parts per million with normal tap water. And we have got 0. That's because I changed this only about a week ago, and I think I've only washed 2 cars since. But yeah, absolutely pure water with 100% filtration. So what I've read is that when you get when the water gets above 30 parts per million, that's when you start noticing water stains. Anyway, that's what the window cleaners say, and they try to keep the water below 30 parts per million. And I found that recently. The resin needed changing, and I found that cars were getting dirtier, and then I tested it and I think I was up to about 60, so I'd missed that, and I changed the resin, and straight away the cars were cleaner, and as you can see we're still on 0, which is very impressive to take. Let's just do another test there. Yeah, oh, there we go, 309 versus 1. That's probably because it's got a bit of water drips on from that other one, but there we go, versus 0. So yeah, the thing is clearly working. So next you're going to want to see the results. So I'm going to wash this Golf, and we're in brilliant sunshine at the moment. We are only in May, but it's a nice day today, and normally in the sun like this it would be an absolute worst day to wash a car, particularly a dark car, and you often find that the water dries on one side of the car by the time you get round it again. However, I'm not sure whether we're going to be able to get these water stains out just with normal washing. I'm just going to give it a normal bucket wash, and then I rinse with the pure water. So I don't wash the cars in the pure water, just trying to save some cost there. So I wash the car, I rinse the car down with normal tap water, wash the car with obviously soapy water, again normal tap water, and then I just use this for the final rinse to blast off all of the original tap water, and then you're left with pure water on the car. And what you can do then is you don't need to chamois the car or use a silicone blade. You don't need to get the water off. When it's pure water like that, particularly when it's as pure as it is now, you can just leave the water on the car. The water will evaporate, but you get 0 spotting. Even on the windscreen you don't get anything, and it's really handy. I can wash the car, I can put it back in the unit, allow it to dry overnight, come in the morning, and the car's pristine. So I'm going to wash this. I'm not going to film it, but we'll see the results at the end. So I've washed the car with soap. It might not be the best results because it is so hot, and actually the soapy water in the original tap water was trying to dry on the car quicker than I could get it off. But anyway, I'm now using the purified water, and I just use the purified water to push off, well, attempt to push off all the original soap and tap water. I try to use it as sparingly as I can. If you want them to have better results, then you would wash the car with purified water as well, but then you got the trouble of trying to heat it because I use hot water in the buckets. But anyway, I'll continue with this, and then we'll look at the results. So there we go, that's all done, and as a really good test, I'm just going to leave this now in the sunshine, and as you can see it's covered in water, and I'm not even going to wipe or push this off with a silicone blade, or I've also got a blower, but I'm not going to use any of those. I'm just going to leave this even on the windscreen there and show you the results. What I also do is I collect the water from the hose. So I've got, what, 8 to 10 meters of hose there, which is full of pure water. So when I disconnect this and put the hose away, I drain the pure water into some containers, and then I use that for mixing up with the chemicals, and even the windscreen wash. So rather than just let it run away down the drain, I try to collect as much of the pure water as I can and use it for other things. So I think the car's dry enough to show the results. So let's have a look at this bit of bonnet here. I hope you can see it okay, but as you can see, the water stains have gone, and more importantly, there's no new ones. There are some watermarks still in the bonnet, but if I rub them, they aren't coming off, and I think that is actually the previous ones, and it needs a more thorough wash. Well, it probably actually needs a polish to get the original ones out. It just shows you how stubborn water stains are, and why using the filter is such an improvement. But if we look at the glass, again, there are a few, but I suspect it's the original ones. But the new water is still a little bit on it in some places. This side is in the shade, but yeah, the new water has dried stain free, and the stains which are on here is actually what was on here originally anyway. So yeah, really does work. And yeah, as you can see, I've left it out in the sun, which would be the worst thing you could do, really. So just one final thing, a lot of the window cleaning guys, when they use these, they actually have two vessels. So what they do is have the incoming water into one through the first vessel, piggyback it to the second through that, and then out, so you're filtering twice. I hadn't done that. I thought I'll just get one and try it. I probably will get a second vessel, because the window cleaner guys, you know, they'll have more experience of this than I have got. And the idea is, I think, is when you've like in this case, I've changed this resin. What you do is you put your dirty resin, well, your whole vessel first, so the water goes through that. It does a obviously, when it's dirty used resin, it's not going to purify it so much, but then when it comes into the second one, the water is already that much cleaner, so your resin in the second one will then last longer because it's doing less work. And you rotate them, so whether ultimately you use less resin, I'm not really sure, but yeah, I might get a second vessel and try that. I'm assuming it has some advantages because the window cleaning guys do it. But anyway, you could let me know in the comments below. I'm no expert on this at all, because this is the first time I've used one of these. But as I probably said, I've had this nearly a year now, and I would never go back. I wish I knew about these systems years ago, and I would have used them with my own home car washing. I think even for the price, I'd have probably got the smaller one, but for the actual running cost after you've bought the chamber, the actual running cost of the vessel, the resin would be so little. I would have done it, and I wish I knew about it before. So I hope that helps. I'll put a link to where I bought this one from and the resin in the descriptions below. And as always, if you like this video, please do click the thumbs up, because that really does help other people find this channel. And I'm now going to make another video on this car, because this electric car is up for sale once that's washed. And as always, do subscribe if you haven't, and have a look at the back catalogue of videos on the channel, and more videos coming soon.